Most people wake up feeling like garbage, stiff joints, heavy head, that foggy sensation, where your brain takes an hour to actually turn on. You drag yourself to the coffee machine because it's the only thing that seems to work. And then by 10 in the morning, you're already crashing again. Here's something nobody in the wellness industry wants to talk about. There's a root that's been sitting in kitchens across Asia for over 5,000 years. Cheap, available everywhere, and it does more for your body in one cup than half the supplements people are spending hundreds of dollars on every month. The reason you've never heard a doctor recommend it isn't because it doesn't work. It's because there's no patent on it. Nobody can make billions selling something you can buy at any grocery store for $2. I'm talking about ginger, and specifically, what happens when you drink ginger tea every single morning for 30 days straight. Because the changes that start happening in your body, week by week, are honestly kind of incredible. Most of my patients who've tried this don't go back. Let me walk you through exactly what happens. The first thing you'll notice, usually within the first 3 or 4 days, is something happening in your gut. And I don't mean in a vague way, I mean specifically. That bloated, heavy feeling you get after meals starts to fade. The kind where your pants feel tight even though you didn't eat that much. That goes away. Look, the reason this happens is pretty simple once you understand it. Your stomach has a job to do. It needs to break food down and move it along. When it doesn't do that efficiently, food just sits there fermenting, producing gas, making you uncomfortable. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogalls, and what they do is basically light a fire under your digestive system. They speed up something called gastric emptying. That's just a fancy way of saying your stomach actually does its job. There was a study published in the European Journal of Gastroenterology where they gave participants 1 gram of ginger before a meal. The food moved through their stomachs about 25% faster than the control group. 25%. That's not a small change. That's the difference between feeling like a brick is sitting in your chest and feeling normal. In traditional Chinese medicine, ginger has been used for digestive issues for at least 2,000 years. The classical texts call it the Great Harmonizer because it brings the stomach back into balance. There's a village in southern China in Guangxi province where the average lifespan is significantly above the national average. Researchers who went there to study them noticed something. Almost every household started the day with ginger tea. Every single one. They didn't think of it as medicine. It was just what you did in the morning, like brushing your teeth. The way to do this properly is simple. You take a piece of fresh ginger, about the size of your thumb, and you slice it thin. Skin on. Don't peel it. Most of the good stuff is right under the skin. Drop it into about 2 cups of water that's just starting to boil. Let it simmer for about 10 minutes. Strain it, drink it warm on an empty stomach before anything else touches your mouth. But the gut thing is just the beginning. What happens next is where it gets really interesting. Around day 7 or 8, you're going to notice something with your joints. If you've got that morning stiffness, the kind where your fingers feel like they belong to someone else for the first hour of the day, or your knees pop when you stand up, that starts to ease off. This isn't placebo. There's actual chemistry happening here. Ginger contains compounds that work on the same inflammatory pathway as ibuprofen, specifically the QX2 pathway. That's the one your body activates when there's chronic, low-grade inflammation running through your system, the kind that causes joint pain and stiffness. The difference is ginger doesn't tear up your stomach lining like ibuprofen does. It actually heals it. A clinical trial at the University of Miami took patients with osteoarthritis of the knee and gave them concentrated ginger extract twice a day. After 6 weeks, 63% of them reported significant pain reduction. Some were able to reduce their painkiller dosage. The researchers were honestly a bit surprised by how strong the effect was. Now here's something most people don't know. In ancient Japan, samurai warriors used to chew on raw ginger before battle. Not for courage, for their joints. They needed to be able to move fast, swing a sword without their shoulders locking up, kneel and stand without hesitation. They figured out something 1,000 years ago that Western medicine only confirmed in the last 20. For joint inflammation specifically, you can make your tea a little stronger, use a slightly bigger piece of ginger, and add a small pinch of black pepper. Sounds weird, I know, but the compound in black pepper called piperine increases ginger's absorption by about 2,000%. So a tiny pinch is all you need. Drink it warm, 2 cups a day if your joints are really bothering you, and the body keeps changing. Around day 10 to 14, something shifts with your blood sugar. This one's important, especially if you've got that mid-afternoon crash where you suddenly feel like you need to lie down on the floor. What's happening in your body when you eat carbs is basically a sugar spike. Your blood sugar shoots up, your pancreas dumps insulin to bring it back down, and that crash is what makes you feel exhausted, irritable, hungry an hour later, even though you just ate. Ginger interrupts this whole cycle. It improves your insulin sensitivity, which means your body uses sugar more efficiently. Less spiking, less crashing, more steady energy throughout the day. Researchers in Iran did a really clean study on this. They took people with type 2 diabetes and gave them 3 grams of ginger powder daily for 8 weeks. Their fasting blood sugar dropped by about 12%. Their HbA1c, which is the long-term marker of blood sugar control, also dropped significantly. These weren't people changing their diet or exercising more, just adding ginger. If any of this is starting to make sense, if you're sitting there nodding because you've felt every single one of these things, you know what to do. There's a lot more of this coming. I've spent 30 years putting these protocols together, and I'm just getting started sharing them. Now back to the blood sugar piece. The way you use ginger for this specifically is actually a little different. You want to drink your tea about 20 minutes before your largest meal of the day, so if lunch is your big meal, drink it then. If it's dinner, drink it then. The compounds in ginger prepare your body to handle the sugar load before it arrives. It's like sending in the cleanup crew before the party starts. By the 3rd week, something else starts happening that catches most people off guard. Your circulation improves, and you'll feel this in weird little ways. Cold hands and feet that you've had your whole life start to warm up. That numb tingling sensation some people get in their fingers goes away. Your skin looks a little better, a little more alive. There's a reason for this. Ginger is what we call a vasodilator. It opens up your blood vessels. It also makes your blood platelets a little less sticky, so blood flows more smoothly through every part of your body. The capillaries in your hands, your feet, your face, your scalp, all of them start getting better delivery of oxygen and nutrients. There's research out of Denmark showing that regular ginger consumption reduces something called platelet aggregation by about 37%, which is similar to a low dose of aspirin, but again, without the stomach damage. Your cardiovascular system gets quieter, calmer, less reactive. In the mountains of Tibet, monks have been drinking a fermented ginger preparation for over 1,000 years. They make it through brutal winters at high altitudes where most people would suffer from poor circulation, frostbite, all kinds of cold-related problems, and they don't. They function in conditions where the rest of us would shut down. The ginger keeps their blood moving. To get the circulation benefit specifically, drink your ginger tea warm, never cold. Cold ginger tea actually has the opposite effect on your circulation in traditional medicine theory. You want it warm enough that you can feel the warmth spreading from your stomach outward when you drink it. That sensation is the circulation kicking in. Some people add a small slice of cinnamon stick to enhance this effect. And then by the end of the month, the most subtle but maybe the most important change happens. Your immune system gets sharper. You stop catching every cold that goes around the office. That low-grade scratchy throat you get every few weeks stops happening. If you've been the person who always seems to be fighting something off, that pattern starts to break. The reason is that ginger does something specific to your immune system. It increases the activity of your natural killer cells. These are the cells that hunt down viruses and abnormal cells in your body. Think of them as the special forces unit of your immune system. When they're working well, you're protected. When they're sluggish, every little bug that floats by gets a chance to set up shop. A study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology showed that regular ginger consumption increased natural killer cell activity by over 40% in healthy adults. 40%. That's a massive jump in your body's ability to defend itself. Korean traditional medicine has a saying that goes something like, "The person who keeps ginger in the pot keeps the doctor out of the house." They've understood for centuries what we're only now confirming in laboratories. For immune support, the protocol is just consistency. 1 cup every morning, made fresh, on an empty stomach. Don't skip days. The compounds need to build up in your system to keep your defenses elevated. After about 3 weeks, your body adapts to having that constant low-level support. And that's when you really notice you're just not getting sick the way you used to. Look, here's the honest truth. None of this is magic. Ginger isn't going to fix everything. If you're eating garbage all day and not sleeping and never moving your body, no amount of ginger tea is going to save you. But for something that costs almost nothing, that takes 10 minutes to prepare, that humans have been using for thousands of years across every major civilization in Asia, the evidence for what it actually does in your body is honestly remarkable. A cup of ginger tea every morning isn't going to change your life overnight, but 30 days from now, your gut is going to feel different. Your joints are going to move easier, your energy is going to be steadier, your circulation is going to wake up, and your immune system is going to be quietly doing its job in the background while you go about your day. That's what 5,000 years of accumulated wisdom looks like, sitting in a pot on your stove every morning. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.